Anybody have any questions about Playadito? We're going to get into that in a second. What's up, guys, on YouTube? We are live right now. What's up, guys, on Facebook? Today, we're talking about a yerba mate, Playadito. Back in 2012, guys, I was first experienced to this yerba mate in Argentina, and admittedly, I wasn't a big fan of this mate. This was during an era when I thought that yerba mate had to be bitter. I thought that yerba mate had to be astringent. I thought that yerba mate had to be robust and all these other factors for it to be effective, for it to be healthy, for it to produce those mind alerting effects. But with everything, you know, we grow, we evolve. Over the past several years, as I've continued to investigate yerba mate, to drink yerba mate, to contemplate on yerba mate, meditate on yerba mate, I've come to the understanding that yerba mate, as you've heard me say a million times, is just as gourmet as wine, as traditional tea, Japanese tea, green teas, black teas, oolong teas. So with that said, I have begun to appreciate the lighter bodied mates, the mates that have a lot of subtleties and intricacies and all sorts of profiles of flavors, which I would call complex. So somebody recently asked me, they said, Dave, you know, several years ago, you wrote this really crazy review on Playadito. Why don't you just delete the review now that you appreciate yerba mate, Playadito? But I said, no, why would I ever delete a review? That makes no sense, because during the time, that review reflected my understanding of yerba mate, Playadito. During that time, that review reflected my relationship. But as all relationships grow and evolve, things change. So I'm going to leave that review up. You guys could read that review on circleofdrink.com. The new review is coming to yerbamateland.com, as well as we are now offering Playadito Yerba Mate on yerbamateland.com. So guys, you know, I get a lot of emails from people, get a lot of calls from people all over the world, not just United States, all over the world. I'm honored to have customers and people who follow Circle of Drink. And many times people will say, listen, Dave, I want a mate that's not bitter. I don't want the bitter mate. I just want to get the health benefits of something that tastes pretty good and doesn't have that astringency. So one of the brands that I would recommend for that, among many other light brands of mate, would be Playadito. So let's just get into Playadito. What is this mate about? Let me actually see if I can share my screen with you guys watching on YouTube. All right, I think you could see my screen. Let me pull up some photography. All right, so this is Playadito. Sorry, guys, on Facebook, you can't see this. Actually, you can. Maybe you can. Let me just switch my screen. It might look weird for you guys on Facebook, but that's basically my screen right there. So Playadito, it comes in 1 kilo, which is 1,000 grams, and a ½ kilo packages. So this is Playadito. This is a mate that's grown in northern Argentina. Let's take a look at the cut. So as we can see, this is a classical Argentine cut. Those of you that aren't familiar with these terms, classical Argentine mate essentially means mate. Though, yes, this mate is predominantly grown in Argentina, keep in mind that you could have an Argentine cut from mates grown in other countries outside of Argentina. But so with that said, an Argentine cut is essentially a mate that has the inclusion of these white stems called palos that actually make the mate naturally sweeter. It has the inclusion of chopped up leaves, as you see here, and it has some powder, or polvo they say in Spanish, but not an overwhelming amount. The combination of those three factors is what makes this a classical Argentine yerba mate, and obviously that is grown in Argentina lends to that. So this mate, when you smell this mate first out of the bag, you're going to have this remarkable experience. Well, I did at least. And this mate, it has these notes of cinnamon, brown sugar, of oatmeal, oatmeal raisin cookies, freshly baked out of the oven. It kind of has this whole pancake batter. I think they call it Bisquick, the Bisquick batter. Those of you guys that remember that. It has this malty sort of barley component, almost kind of like a charred oak aspect to it. It kind of tastes like how it smells. You're gonna have this sort of fruity, but not sharp fruit. I would say more like a floral, fruity component. Everything's pretty soft with this mate. There are no, you know, things that will jump out of this mate and hit you in the face. There's no bricks to the face, bricks to the mouth. It's sort of like a friendly mate, if you will, soft-spoken mate. But the interesting thing about this mate that it has nice contrast to it, and this is why I consider this a complex yerba mate, because on one side you have this mate where it has some green notes to it, some herbaceous kind of green tea, herbal notes to it. But those green tea kind of herbally notes, they contrast with this sort of malty, nutty oatmeal aspect, as I spoke about, almost like a mild Cruz de Malta meets a sweet pipore combined together. You have the best of both worlds, where we have a truly bittersweet mate, just more on the sweet side and less on the bitter side. So Playadito, a lot of times, often people will say this is for a beginner. I think that's kind of I think by saying that is almost to discredit the mate, even though I've described many mates as beginner mates. So though this mate is, recommended to people who are just starting off with mate, I think this mate is great for anybody because it's a complex mate. And if you're into gourmet yerba mate, craft yerba mate, and want to try different brands and expand your horizon. So Playadito is a nice deviation from those headier, heavier mates like Rosamante, even Mission to a large degree, which is very robust. This is a light kind of escape from all that. So these are just some other pictures. This is a nice cut of Playadito. Playadito, as you can see, has a fairly good amount of stems. And remember, guys, the stems are good. Especially if you're trying to make a light-bodied, sweeter mate. The more stems, the lighter the body, and the sweeter the mate. Here we go, another little close-up of Playadito. So that's Playadito, guys. It's one of those mates that I wasn't scared to eat my own words about. Like I said, when I first started drinking mate, I used to think it was all about strong mates. But then I came to realize mate is gourmet. And there's a lot of bodies, a lot of textures, a lot of taste profiles, a lot of levels of viscosity and, syrupy, and is it thin? How long does the mate last? The cycle. There's so much going on with yerba mate that it's undeniable that that mate is a gourmet food item, gourmet tea, if you will. So I don't want to make this a long video, guys. I just wanted to briefly talk about Playadito. Let me just talk a little bit about the cycle. The cycle is how long does this mate last? If you're drinking it the traditional way, out of a yerba mate gourd, for those of you guys on Facebook can see this. I would say this is a medium cycle, which essentially means that you're going to get at least, let's say, 25 or 30 pours of water into your gourd, and this mate will still be pretty nice tasting after 20 or 30 gourds. You've heard me in the past talk about cycles when I said, okay, a short cycle mate loses its taste within the first 1/3 of a gourd, of a thermos, a 1 liter or 2 liter thermos. And then a medium cycle is one that can last halfway, and then a long cycle is when the taste lasts up until the end of your liter. Those are good sort of parameters to kind of measure the cycle length, but honestly, the way that I'm doing it now is all intuitive. When a cycle is short or long, essentially a cycle is a descriptor of the body of the mate in many ways. Usually the body of the mate corresponds with how long the taste of the mate will linger, how long will it last. So as you begin to drink so many different types of yerba mate, so many different brands, you get like this sixth sense where you could just have a couple sips of any sort of brand, any type of mate. It doesn't matter the region, doesn't matter the type. It could have palos, it could have no palos. You're gonna just size it up quick. You just know how. So this is, I would say, a medium-bodied mate, which is interesting. It looks like it would be a light-bodied mate because it looks, you know, it has a lot of stems, but it's actually, I would say, medium-bodied mate. And this goes back to what my remarks on the contrast aspect of this mate. Contrast being that you're going to get a soft, nutty, you know, smooth undertone. That's going to be intelligently combined with, I would say, a sharper, almost green aspect that comes together, and the whole which produces a mellow sort of mate. So guys, those of you looking for a nice deviation from strong, super strong, powerful mates, don't forget about Playadito. It's a light, refreshing mate, subtleties, floral notes. It has a lot of multi aspects as well. Check it out, yerbamateland.com, guys. This is Dave Mate with another review. I hope to see you again soon. I think that's it, folks. If you have any questions, just ask the questions in the description or in the comment section, and that's it. Drink your yerba mate. Feel good. Feel great. Peace out.